Mic check 1 2, it's the Y2K Collector, and we are 1 day away from the weekend, and I'm so excited. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but those are my landscapers officially cutting my grass for the first time this year. That makes me feel good because it lets me know we're not that far away from warmer weather, better weather, and hopefully bright and sunny days ahead. And I'm putting away some of these games that I took out for a video that I made last night, and I kind of just wanted to have a quick conversation with the Y2K crew. So one of the things that I noticed, particularly during the pandemic, when I was doing a lot of YouTubing and game hunting, was that there seemed to be this sort of like hive mind around like the games that everyone thought were cool and popular, and these were the games to get, and these are the games that you need to have in your collection, and so on and so forth. Now, I could never tell anyone what games they need to have in their collection, right? You're gonna know the type of games that you like to play. You're gonna have an idea of what you want to fill your time doing, and I can't really tell you like, hey, this is a must-have or a must-play game. Now, I can tell you that I really enjoy the game, and if you like a particular type of genre, there are games that are just objectively very fun. There are games that objectively are just better made, right? And those we can recommend. But sometimes I think there are games that we talk about that deep down inside we don't even care about, and we talk about them, we buy them, we collect them, we add them to our collections, and then at the end of the day it's like we realize we bought this because someone else said it was cool and we don't even really care about it. And I realized that I made that mistake when collecting for the GameCube. Now, the GameCube was one of the most popular systems during the pandemic. I mean, the GameCube was hot, on fire. I mean, every other video that I saw on YouTube was about the GameCube and how you needed to get it, and you saw people that they had every single GameCube that came out. And when I look at the GameCube stands out for a few reasons. One, I think it had the best graphics of that era, right? I do think that the GameCube, I mean, maybe the Xbox had better graphics, but the GameCube had the cleanest, brightest graphics for that era. And it also was home to my favorite game in that era, and that is Super Smash Bros. Melee. So because of this game, I needed to have a GameCube. Now, as I continued my collecting and I got more games, I realized that there were amazing shooters that I needed to have on the GameCube, like Ikaruga, which has been ported to the Switch, as well as a Chaos Field, another pretty awesome shooter that I felt like I needed to have, which we saw re-release on the Nintendo Wii as part of a compilation shooter series, a space shooter series. And then for nostalgia purposes, I definitely had to get Star Fox because this was the first game that I had ever gotten on the GameCube. So this was a pure nostalgia play. And actually, quick backstory on this game, I was given this game by my mom, and like, just to let you know, my parents did not believe in video games. They did not believe in buying video games. They did not believe in giving us video games, because I had parents who were foreigners, and for some reason foreigner parents just believe that video games turned your brain into poop. But I went through a period in like early high school where I got really, really sick, and I think my mom, she felt bad for me, so she wound up buying me a GameCube because I begged for it. And Star Fox Adventures was the only game that she was able to get for me at the time. And so this game has sentimental values. It takes me back to that time. And it just reminds me of a time where my mom, like, it was one of the only games my mom actually bought me. Like, she felt bad, like she saw how sick I was. And I guess in her mind, she was like, you know what, if this is going to bring him some joy, let me get it for him. So thank you, Mom. Love you, Mom. I'll always love this game. But there were a ton of games on the GameCube that I did not give a crap about. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, I think I only have this game because I had to burn trade credit at a game store that I knew I wasn't going to go back to. And so I picked up Fire Emblem Path of Radiance because I knew I could sell it. And I still haven't sold it. I just kept it in the collection. Bait and Kados. This is another game that I really don't care about. Like, it's an RPG. Maybe I'll get to it. Maybe I won't. But I think it has some really cool cover art. I think this is like really cool. Look at that cover art. Man, it's killer. So I'm talking about the GameCube because there was a point where everyone had kind of like this hive mind towards how amazing the GameCube was. And in my opinion, it really wasn't that awesome. Like, games wise, it wasn't awesome. And I realized I was taking it too far when I picked up a game called Ribbit King. And I was like, all right, you know what? This needs to stop. And I immediately sold Ribbit King because I was like, I'm not going to play this game. And so what's the point? What am I saying all this for? I'm saying this to say that it's okay to be different. If everyone online is saying that the greatest console is the PlayStation 1, who cares? If the PlayStation 1 isn't the greatest console to you, collect what you like. Buy what you like. Buy only the things that you're actually going to play. You know, and honestly, value shouldn't really play a role in what you buy. You know, I've got a copy of, what do we got here? I've got a copy of Sonic the Hedgehog. This isn't a valuable game at all, but I have it because I like Sonic. I want to play this game. I think it's pretty daggone awesome. Or I'll do you one even better. In my Game Boy right now, I have a copy of Super Mario Land because this was the first video game I actually ever owned as a kid. My brother bought me my first Game Boy when I was 9, so that's why I have a Game Boy in my collection. I will always keep a Game Boy in my collection. But this isn't a very expensive game either, but I love this game. I remember the music in this game. This is a classic game. So buy the things that you like. Buy the things that are going to bring you a lot of joy. And the more you play them, and maybe the more you talk about those games that everyone isn't talking about, you might wind up exposing some folks to the gaming community to games that they ordinarily never would have thought of because the game is sick. Like Silent Bomber. This game is sick. I don't hear people talking about Silent Bomber half as much as they should. But this is an amazing game. Just like Hyperduel. I talked about Hyperduel yesterday. Where's it at? Did I put it back? I think I did. Is this it? I think this is it. Yeah, Hyperduel. I spoke about Hyperduel yesterday because I think this is the best shooter ever made. In my opinion, this is the greatest shoot-'em-up game ever made. Play this game and you'll be like, yeah, Y2K was right. This is the best shoot-'em-up game ever made. And I talked about this the other day, and someone commented and they were like, wow, you know, I never heard of Hyperduel. Man, I'm emulating it right now. It is amazing. You know, even if the person, or even if, you know, the person that you're sharing this with isn't going to go out and actually buy the physical game, at least let's start talking about uncommon games. Let's start talking about games that not everyone's talking about, because that's how you expose people to amazing games and amazing genres that they ordinarily never would have heard of. I have a large, well, not a large, but I have a decent sized collection of import Sega Saturn games, because the Sega Saturn in Japan, they released more of the games that I actually like to play. I'm sad. I wish they would have released these games in the US, but unfortunately they just didn't. I guess they kept all the best space shooters to themselves. And so just don't get caught up in the hive mind. Try not to get so caught up in all the stuff everyone else is playing that you lose sight of the games that bring you a lot of joy. For me, it's beat 'em ups, it's action games, it's adventure games, it's space shooters, it's platformers, it's hack and slash games, and amazing fighting games, and more beat 'em up games, and more adventure games, and more fighting games. If you go through my collection, you're gonna see the same thing: more shoot 'em up games, and more adventure games, and more platformers, and even more adventure games, and more hack and slash games, and more shooters. My library has a very distinct theme going here. Even if you come over here to my old school stuff, more action games, more platformers, more beat 'em ups, more shoot 'em ups. That's what I'm about. And if that's what you're about, if you really like a certain genre, my advice, especially if you're starting off a new collection, be different, discover the types of games that you like, and then start seeking out those games across all platforms. And you might run into a game that'll blow your socks off and you never want to put it down. But those are just my thoughts. I'm the Y2K collector. Let me know what you think down in the comment. Do you think there was a hive mind? Do you think people tend to all jump on one game at the same time? Or do you think the gaming community as a whole are filled with independent thinkers who really aren't afraid to explore those weird, unique, and niche genres? I'm interested to know your thoughts. I'm not always right. In fact, most of the time I'm wrong. That's why I ask you to let me know down in the comments. Hopefully you're having a good week, and hopefully you're looking forward to this weekend. I know I am. I'm the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.